All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're a minute away. Let's do final checks.
Yes, he says!
Be steady, Sancho. Trust me.
It may happen that before we pass 6 days together, I shall conquer a number of kingdoms.
You, we had a deal.
And your loyalty shall be rewarded.
Cut!
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. Here's a strange thought. This blog has now been running for 8 years, and incidentally, thanks ever so much for tuning in and keeping it going. I'd like to report now on a story which has been going for twice as long as this blog. In fact, longer even than that. The story of Terry Gilliam and the man who killed Don Quixote. Now, just a little sort of primer to get you up to speed. Way back, around the turn of the century, Terry Gilliam was making The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. It was his pet project. He'd been working on it for ages and ages. And it was set to star Johnny Depp and Jean Rochefort. And it followed the adventures of a modern-day advertising executive who travels in time to 17th century La Mancha, where he sort of ends up becoming a Sancho Panza figure. The film looked really exciting. There was going to be puppetry. There was going to be sort of, invention and strangeness in the way of Gilliam. And then, of course, the project famously fell down. As a result of its collapse, we did get a terrific documentary called Lost in La Mancha by Keith Fulton and Louis Pepper, who had previously made that absolutely brilliant on-set documentary, The Hamster Factor, about the making of 12 Monkeys. And in that film, we got to see some of the footage that would have been in The Man Who Killed Don Quixote had the film not stopped production. In fact, I did an interview with Gilliam around the time of the DVD release of Lost in La Mancha, talking about what had happened to the film and talking about his dismay and what happened to his project, but also how much he really liked the documentary and how much he really wanted to get The Man Who Killed Don Quixote back on track. Because at that point, all the various elements, the scripts, the props, everything seemed to be owned by the insurance company. Well, in the interim years, every now and then, there have been stories of The Man Who Killed Don Quixote coming back to life. So we had some reports at one point that in 2008, Robert Duvall was going to play Don Quixote and Ewan McGregor was also apparently attached. Then later, John Hurt was attached to the title along with Jack O'Connell. Well, now, Craig Skinner, very fine film journalist, has reported in Flick Reel that the project is on again, and this time it stars Michael Palin and Adam Driver and is scheduled to shoot in autumn. Now, since you're watching this blog, this story will have been elsewhere. The first place I saw it was in Craig Skinner's report, and it really made me excited. This is what the current plot synopsis says of the version of the film that they're now attempting to make. There was a time when Toby was a young film student full of ideals, so he decided to shoot a film adapted from the story of Don Quixote in a pretty Spanish village. But those days are gone, and now Toby is an arrogant publicist, libidinous and jaded. Money and glitter have corrupted him, and while he's in Spain, where he finishes filming an ad, he has to juggle with his boss's wife, Jackie, a calamitous weather, and his own ego. This is when a mysterious gypsy comes to find him with an old copy of his student film. Toby is upset and decides to go in search of the little village where he had made his first work a long time ago. And from that, it brings us back into the story of Don Quixote. Craig Skinner's report also included some photographs of some new artworks, and it does look like this is actually happening. Now, I have to say, from a personal point of view, I really want this to happen, partly because when it first fell down, Gilliam seemed so genuinely disheartened by it, but also convinced in that Gilliam-esque way that this was a project that would not elude him. This was something that he would keep chasing. This was a very, very Don Quixote project, in as much as it was effectively somebody chasing windmills, but that somebody being Terry Gilliam meant that it might actually happen. It looks like it's going to. So Terry, from everyone